Hello everybody. So in this lecture we'll continue about our approach on function architecture co-design, which is a methodology based on the ESL approach used for SOC design. So as we discussed ESL last time, ESL was an approach which was developed. It was the first approach which was developed with the hardware software co-design because of the requirements of the market or the complexity or driven by the complexity of the growing complexity of the circuits. Okay, so double roof model, which is a very successful and a widely used model of ESL, was introduced around 1990s. So it was the time when ESL actually became popular, and hardware software co-design it became the uh, the driving force of the SOC industry. Okay, over the time there were different refinements which were coming to this ESL approach, and by 2009 there was a third level of ESL co-design with cross-level design environment for synthesizing complex systems. So one such method which was introduced in this ESL design approach was your function architecture co-design, which is being employed widely in the SOC industry. So when I talk about the function, it is very when I talk about the this function architecture co-design, it is a function-based ESL design method which is used for designing of SOC systems in which the computational models and the architecture models they are used, which encourage the use of the platform-based design in the industry. So it is one of the latest techniques which has been quite popular over the last 5 to 6 years. It encourages the use of the platform based design methodology. So it was one of the most significant uh, development when it comes to the design of SOC systems. So basically, in the computational model, when I say the computational model is designed for the application orientation or the application specifications of the system. So it is a cycle based approach. I just talked briefly about computational modeling in the last lecture. So it is nothing but it is a framework within which the performance of the system from the application point of view it is being evaluated or it is being measured. Okay, so we see the system from the application point of view. So in this, when I say, I told last time also, there is the use of CFSMs. So it is a finite state machine based approach, co-designed finite state machines, which make use of the attributed function flow graphs for designing, and there is an uh, IDR representation, that is intermediate design representation. We are not digging too deep into that. I just want to tell कि इसमें हम just like we have to see that for performing any operation or a task, how many cycles are being used. Okay, so that approach or how many computations are being used to perform any operation. So that is how we view the functionality of the system to perform any particular task. So in this, what happens is there is a computational model which represents the this application part, and then there is a platform model which represents the architecture, that is the communication architecture of the different IP blocks which are used in the system on system on chip. Okay, we all know that IP blocks they are made use in SOC because of the need to reduce the time to market and save on the cost also. So reusability it is encouraged, and one of the uh, way to design that is using IP blocks. So basically, when I talk about this, so we are having the architecture based models which is representing our PBD, that is platform based design, and there is application representation, which is very specific to the application, and that is representing the functionality using the computational model. And when I talk about the functional level representation, it actually encompasses both the hardware as well as the software. So, as was desired at a higher level than RTL, at an upper level of abstraction than RTL, okay, the system is represented on a common model both for hardware and for software. This was very necessary to actually proceed with the co-design approach. Okay, so just getting back to this function architecture co-design. So it begins at the level of design abstraction above the RTL, which is normally used in any IC design, and well above the C code level on the software design. I will just take one small example. You can consider that you are actually developing any circuit on FPGA. Okay, so you know that FPGA what components you are going to use, and you have to develop the code for that, or you have the soft core for that, which is being available for running that particular units of those FPGA. So basically, when I go for this, that is, I have the hardware and I have the software. So my functionality is actually being partitioned into hardware and software at the functional level. When we are not talking about RTL code, okay, we are just talking about how my uh, application is getting implemented. Okay, so that is one example of the co-design. So function architecture co-design, it begins with a purely functional model of the desired product behavior and the abstract models of the system architecture which are suitable for the performance evaluation. So this we have already talked about. So there is computational model representing the functionality or the application, and then there is the architecture model representing the platform which is being used for the communication network. So this is the typical approach of this function architecture co-design. So the designer, it starts with the functional specifications that are very specific to the application, and the architecture constraints which are coming from the architecture model or the platform which is being used. That is what bus structure is being used for communication, what is the interface which would be required. So there may be wrappers which may be needed around the IP blocks which are used for implementing this. Okay, so if we clearly see this, so once it is decomposed into the blocks, so it may be decomposed into the blocks. So partitioning is done both with respect to hardware and software, and there is a representation. Normally this is what I was talking about, IDR. Okay, so IDR is nothing but intermediate design representation is there. So again, it is with respect to hardware and software both. And finally, we move on to the physical implementation or actually hardware units which are going to be there on a chip or in a system. But before those are finalized, the architectural constraints, they are being mapped onto the said units and the complete system is being implemented. And then there is a bottom-up approach. So this was the top-down approach, breaking down the system into components, carrying hardware and software both together, designing it, mapping it to the physical model which is there, that is the component level. That may be IP blocks or that may be a new IC depending upon what the application is. And then there is a bottom up approach where we are going to traverse back to see whether the constraints which were there, as per them, we are able to map our system design. So it is a mix. So this is the current approach which is being used. So all of you must be very familiar with the ASIC top-down approach, but that is not suitable for SOC design. So SOC design is basically, it is now a mix of a top-down approach of partitioning the system into hardware, software, and further into their components that can be microcodes or instruction level codes for software, and your units or the subblocks or the subsystems for your hardware. Then they are required to perform together and verified at each stage till they are able to integrate the complete system. And then there is a bottom up approach which is being uh, we are moving back, or we are traversing back from bottom towards the specification level to see whether, on applying the constraints imposed by the architecture, are we able to meet all the specifications. So that is actually the SOC approach which is currently being used. So uh, it is a systems approach to SOC design which is based on the co-design methodologies. So it is beyond hardware and software co-design, because here we are using the platform based approach also. So it follows the top down synthesis and the bottom up constraint driven optimization. So these are the different phases. So this figure is representing the different phases of the function architecture co-design. So at the initial level, as I told you, here we are going to use our models of computation for representing, and that is normally making use of the CFSMs, that is the co-design FSMs. Just like we are having the directed flow graphs for representing the design, here we are making use of the attributed functional flow graphs. So basically it is a cycle based representation of the functionality, both with respect to the hardware and software. Okay, so here my architecture, that is using the models of architecture, or what I can say, the platforms. Okay, so then there is mapping and analysis, that is we are beginning to decompose our system into hardware, software components, and further into the subblocks or the microcodes or uh, instruction level codes, whatever is required for both hardware and software, and they are being then implemented. And here also they are verified and they are integrated at each level. So we are not waiting for the final integration and verification. Side by side, for if FPGA, if I want to run a particular unit, I require a firmware. I have to run it and see it side by side. So there is an interaction between these parallel arms along with, and if any interface is required, that is also being developed side by side. And finally, they are integrated to perform as a system, and testing is then carried out. Okay. So let's dig a little deeper into each of this phase. Coming to the functional modeling. So in this phase, the product requirements, they are established. They are coming naturally, they are driven from the specification which is coming. That what kind of output we are expecting, what input we are expecting, what speed we are expecting to work. So that makes us decide what is the processor speed we need, what is the co-unit speeds I need, whether I need a co-processor or not. So these things, they are going to be based on this functional modeling only. Okay, so the specification can be executable. Now, when I say executable, it means that it is going to be uh, in the form of the code or a pre-verified code where it requires it to be performing, okay, or giving us the required output. That okay, I want the output as bits first. First, my analog data that has to be converted into bits. Now that is already which is there in the market, already which is there, already those things have been done and they are verified to perform efficiently. They have been optimized to be implemented. So those things they can be taken as such. So they can be this functional specification can be specified in the form of the executables or maybe as the design environment which is required. Okay. So next, it is at the algorithmic level where the uh, functionality it is simulated and checked for. Okay, whatever we are expecting or whatever that model of computation around which we are building, what no, there are different models which are going to be there. So we have to explore those models which are there. So we have to see without having the actual hardware in place, we have to see that whether they would be giving me the required output or not, and that is done through simulation. So again, co-simulation is the keyword here. I have to do the co-simulation both with respect to hardware as well as software. So then environmental executable specification. So it is considered to be a virtual test bench. As I told you, without having the hardware in place, we have to see that if my functional level or the application level has to be verified using this particular model, this particular interface, would it be working or not? So that is done before the actual verification in the last stages of the SOC design is done. Then we come to the architecture modeling. So architecture and functional modeling, they are at the same stage only. So it is where your uh, platform is being designed. So what if I'm using IP blocks, then whether we need an interface wrapper around it or not, whether we need to you can say step up the speeds or lower down the speeds, we need bridges, we need what kind of buses which are there. So all these kind of things they are decided here. Okay, so they are decomposed into the uh, architectural blocks which are going to be there. Okay, so that can be reconfigurable hardware blocks or they can be the IP blocks and also the software which is needed along with. Okay, then we come to the process of mapping. That is the mapping between the functional model and the architectural model is being done. So just taking the example of the embedded systems. So embedded systems, the kind of SOCs uh, which are there. So they may contain several processes. Okay. So this manual, so we need to have uh, a virtual system, you can say, where it has to be seen whether I am able to implement or carry out these things. So that mapping that can be manual or that can be automated. Obviously, with the complexity of the systems, manual mapping is little tough. So automated mapping tools they are being used and they are used to perform the optimizations also. And then there is the performance analysis. So different attributes they are being checked for, let's say latency, speed, which is there, uh, the bandwidth which is being used by the system. So all these different parameters are there on which it is being seen for the different models which are being employed. And finally, there is a software hardware implementation. Once the system is we have a system which is going to perform as desired or close to the desirable performance, we can go for the software and the hardware implementation. So, as a co design approach, and that is carried out in this phase. And finally, we move to the system integration. Okay, so that may include the rapid prototyping or that may be using your emulators. So let's see this. So it is a little vibrant kind of figure which is trying to help us understand what is being happening. So this is my application which is there, which is what we need to design. Okay. So this is being decomposed. Okay. So when I am having the decomposition, it means I am now here the architecture is also coming as the input. What it is going to be there. So based on that, there is a decomposition, there is mapping. Okay. And finally, we are having a kind of system which is there. So exploration part is also happening. What different models we are going to try, we are going to verify them, their performance using simulation, analyze their performance using simulations, and see whether they are compatible, whether they are working with a given interface. And finally, we move to the actual implementation of the hardware and the software, where your hardware software co-synthesis it is going to take place, and we move towards the implementation or the system integration of the complete system. So if we see here again, first there is a process of refinement, which is the process of synthesis, which is being carried out both using the function and the architecture. So there may be certain trade-offs depending upon what models we are using. Then there is mapping between them, and then they are actually implemented parallelly into hardware and software branches. So this is the process of decomposition. We are breaking down the system hierarchy to build our system in the sub-blocks or subsystems along with the software. And once it is done, then we are moving towards the higher level of abstractions, applying our constraints. What those may be the performance constraints, those may be the architecture constraints, and verifying the system functionality as a complete unit step by step towards the higher level of abstraction. So that is how your function architecture co-design methodology it is going to work. So this is another way of representing the same thing. So first it is represented at the functional level, and we refine it, and using this function and the architecture we are achieving the given functionality having with the help of constraint optimization and the co-design approach. So once the design is made, we move to the higher levels of abstraction, verifying the functionality. Okay.